All right, now we are right here at the Bomas of Kenya. We established our presence as early as 6 a.m. Indeed, the sun was rising with us right here, the designated day of public participation in as far as the impeachment of the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, is concerned. This is, of course, after the motion was in Parliament and moved by the Member of Parliament of Kibwezi. A lot of conversations around what is happening. Is it political? Is it going to sail through the National Assembly and to the Senate? And, of course, what will the implication be as far as concerned? My name is Anki Dorisombat. As I said earlier on, Kenyans have already made their way to the Bomas of Kenya. But this particular exercise has been envisioned in the Constitution, the Article 182. The Speaker of the National Assembly made that very clear, saying this will happen across the 47 counties in the country. We're looking at about 290 constituencies. And so far, this public participation will then align this impeachment process with the Constitution. But I also need to let you know then which other halls or respective designated areas we're expecting this exercise to happen across the counties. This was already shared by the National Assembly. In as far as order is concerned, we're expecting this to happen at the Bomas of Kenya right here in Nairobi. And you can see people right behind me, more still coming. And we will have them in Kisumu, at Tombaya Labor College. We're also expecting this particular exercise to happen in Mombasa. The exact hall will be the Tononoka Social Hall in Mombasa. In Busia, this particular exercise will be happening at the Busia Airstrip. Following closely in Kakamega, we're expecting as well some action at the Magharibi Hall. Kericho will have the Kenyans also converging at the ACK Church Hall for the public participation this far. Nyeri CUL in Nyeri, we're also expecting Kenyans to converge at the County Hall in Uasin Gishu. At Vihiga, they will be there at the Praise Church Center. And Turkana, we're expecting Kenyans to be participating in the public participation process in Turkana University. And in Samburu, at Maralal Vocational Center, in Marsabit at the Catholic Hall. Once again, this is us right here in Nairobi at the Bomas of Kenya. But as we continue to give you the updates, it's also important that we've seen different reactions from certain members of parliament, including that member of parliament of Tetu, who are changing tune. Remember, earlier on, we have on record about 291 members of parliament already appending their signatures to this particular impeachment motion, but a number of them have come out to explain why they did that, and some even saying they have spoken to their constituents and they are being advised to rethink their impeachment. Allow me to engage Kenyans who have been here or who are here earlier enough, and they are energetic. There's a lot of positivity in as far as our interactions are concerned, and the demography as well. Old, young, the Gen Zs have made their way here as well, men and women alike. And at this point in time, allow me, and we shall speak in the languages that we speak in Kenya, Kiswahili and English, to ensure that this particular conversation actually reaches the public. Na ni mzuri sana kuona. Good morning.
Good morning.
Habari ya leo?
Salama kabisa.
Umefika mapema?
Nimefika mapema.
Tell us why, what is your name, and what do you expect this far hapa Kenya?
Kwa majina naitwa Dennis Wanjala kutoka bunge la mwananchi Jakaranda. Na kitu imenileta ni kitu moja, sababu sisi kama wa Kenya, hii ya kuimpeach Rigathi Gachagua is not first priority in this country. Kuna Adani, kuna Chief, kuna e-citizen. So hii kitu wanatufanyia hapa, it is a PR, ni ujinga wa hali ya juu. Na ndio maana sisi tumekuja kuweza kuambia serikali kwa sisi kitu ambacho tunataka mshughulikie maneno ya Chief, wananchi wasiteseke hospitalini. Lakini maneno ya kuimpeach Rigathi, hii ni ujinga hii. Rigathi hakuna mahali anaenda.
All right, kama unasema namna hiyo, lakini umefika to actually, participate. So why are you here then if you unaona kama it is not necessary?
Nimekuja ku defend Rigiji. Rigiji is not only the person who is corrupt in this government. Even William Ruto is corrupt. So if they want to impeach Rigiji, William Ruto also the same. Wote wawili waende tuchague another viongozi wengine ambao wanafaa.
Ukisema hivyo, do you have confidence then in the parliament? Because umesema wewe ni mtu wa bunge la wananchi, so you speak for the wananchi, lakini pia umekuwa ukifuatilia nini inafanyika kwenye bunge hapa Kenya. So do you have confidence kwenye bunge? Because imepitia bunge na uliona venye ilipita. Wewe kwa maoni yako, unaona ilipita kwa usawa ama what is your thoughts on members of parliament?
Kitu mimi naweza sema, mimi ninajua sina imani yoyote na wabunge wa sai. Hao wabunge wa sai ni corrupt. Wanapewa pesa ndio wafanye kitu. Hata sai maneno wanakimbia bungeni kwenda kuimpeach Rigathi. Hakuna vile unaweza kimbia bungeni, kuna wenye wako haikanyaka bunge, lakini kuimpeach Rigathi walienda sababu walipewa package. So sisi hatuna imani na bunge, na ndio maana tumekuja hapa kusema package yote mbili iende nyumbani.
Umekuja kama member of the public na umekuja kutoa maoni yako. Una imani ya kwamba this participation utafanya will be taken into consideration? Do you have the trust that your public voice will count?
Ninajua sauti yangu kwa hii serikali haimati. That's what I know. I know that. But kama itamata, sisi kama wananchi, sisi wenyewe tutachukua mkondo yetu. Na mkondo yetu William Ruto knows. He's very aware of us. We will do it what we can to make sure both of them wanaenda nyumbani. Actually, nashukuru Ruto sababu anatengeneza mwanya yeye pia kufuata. Sasa yeye pia tutafuatisha yeye. Rigathi akienda, yeye pia aende. Simple and clear.
Asante sana Dan. Naona kama watu wanapanga foleni, so there will be need then to also engage other Kenyans here. And as you can see now, we of course spoke to the authorities here, and we're expecting that this particular group of people, 500 per session, that's the conversation we have with the authorities. But remember, the police are equally on the ground and are making sure the security that is very tight here. But as you can see, there's a whole queue here, and I also want to engage like I mentioned, there's women here, men, the demography is mixed of old, young. And if I would quickly just tap on the lady in the queue. Okay, but remember, we also take very keen consent. Here, a number of times you engage with consent, but what I'm saying here is you can see that the Kenyans have made their way here. The queue is growing by the day. We were here at 6 a.m., but the queue is growing by the day. Kenyans, and especially the one I've just spoken to, has said he is a strong believer that if Rigathi Gachagua is impeached, then, according to him, the president as well should leave. But also, a matter of concern is that the citizen I just spoke to has also declared that he has a bit of reservations in as far as the parliament and the supreme organ is concerned. He's saying it could be compromised and does not really trust that this issue is not fully political. Let's also bring in an angle of concern, because there are other political analysts and voices that have also weighed in this matter, saying the fallout between Ruto and Gachagua could have led to this point in time. In fact, the questions why, President William Ruto hasn't spoken yet. At this point in time, the president has maintained his silence and probably up and about his other duties as called for outside the country. So there's a lot going on around here, but we're still looking around to make sure that we can get the opinion of Kenyans. We're also expecting them to understand what are the grounds of impeachment, as we have continued to talk about it across, our different coverage. We have different grounds, and of course, according to the impeachment motion that was before the parliament, over 10 grounds that are now facing the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. We're looking at insubordination, we're looking at, incitement, looking at bullying, and gross violation is actually the big, umbrella. So all these questions of concern are coming up, and we're continuing to engage Kenyans. What we're seeing here is there's a lot of order in as far as the Bomas of Kenya is concerned. There is there's a lot of order. We've seen the security personnel on the ground, and we're trying to see if the Kenyans will find their way into the auditorium at this point in time where the exercise will be happening. The information we have is that 500 people will be in per session, and we will also continue to find out how it's going and how the order flows. But like I mentioned earlier on, all the 47 counties are expected to hold this particular exercise as is enshrined in the Constitution, that is Article 182. This motion was moved by a first-term Member of Parliament, of course, of Kibwezi, and he explained. Of course, we're also seeing the natural phenomena happening, but he also, said that, tribalism and ethnicity does not have place in this country. And according to the mover, the deputy president has gone against the constitution by pretty much, fighting for one particular region, that is the Mount Kenya region. But also vividly, we are seeing that different voices are coming in, some in support of the impeachment motion. But the whole idea today is that the voice of the people is very important. Now, we engaged advocates earlier on, especially if you followed our coverage last evening, and the former LSK president said, well, the president is elected. According to him and according to what he refers to as a law, the deputy president is nominated. So according to certain legal voices, it is not a possibility then that if Gachagua is impeached, so is the president. So all these legalities around and analysis are still ongoing, different reactions still on social media as well as we're speaking. But what I'm trying to give you right now is what is happening at the Bomas of Kenya. That is where the public participation is happening in Nairobi. But not forgetting, we are seeing this public participation beginning at exactly 8 a.m. and it is expected to go all the way to 5 p.m. today. Not rigid to that. We will follow closely if it ends earlier or later. The whole point now is that Kenyans give their opinion in as far as the impeachment is concerned. If we also follow closely in appearances that the deputy president has made, in remarks, in public televised interviews, he said, take it back to the people. Let the people then speak. He's saying he serves the people. They elected him. It is up to the people to then decide if they are confident in the motion and the grounds that have been laid bare, charging the deputy president unfit for office. Now, I am still looking at if I could engage. And as you can see, really, we're looking at the young, across all religious fields, across all age groups, have made their way here. It is barely 8:30 a.m. right now, but Kenyans have already made their way all the way to the front. What you're not seeing then is the checkpoint, and of course the camera person is trying to give you that. All the way from the checkpoint, Kenyans have dedicated their time to be part of this participation to ensure that they have a voice in this impeachment process. Now, will the Senate then take into account the views of the Kenyans? This is where the question comes. If it goes through the parliament, and so far those who appended their signatures have gone beyond the threshold, and the threshold being 117 members of parliament, that is 2/3 of the National Assembly, would be the threshold to then agree that this motion has met the threshold. What we saw was over 200 appended signatures. But we have the Senate as well. Will the Senate have a more objective outlook of this matter? In fact, we've spoken to legal voices, including advocates, who have said it lies with the Senate to then investigate this particular grounds, and if the president is unfit for office, the last resort would be the courts. What will the courts look at? Regarding Gachagua, that is the deputy president, has twice attempted to be in court, or attempted to have the court's intervention, first in, this motion getting to parliament and being discussed, but that was again thrown away by the courts. The second attempt was just yesterday when the deputy president made an attempt to suspend this public participation, and what his argument and his legal counsel arguments were is that the procedure All right, the legal procedure was not right. And of course, the deputy president says it is ill-advised, it is politically instigated, and there is a need to reconsider. However, the courts denied that particular request. That is why we are here this morning in the public participation, as enshrined in the Constitution, Article 182, is currently ongoing. Now, we continue to engage a number of Kenyans, and of course, if I could just look around, a number of them could be shy at this point in time, but you'll allow me to see. Habari ya asubuhi. Exactly, but that is the fun of it. A number of them, but really just to also show you the mood, that is what we have. They might not talk in camera, but you can see not much of agitation. We're not expecting any sort of, if anything of the sort, agitation going on. But you can see quite early, habari ya asubuhi. Mzuri? Okay. So this is just, I'm engaging with them really to just show you that if I do get a point where someone will engage us, it will be great. But you see, from all walks of life, Kenyans have made their way here. And, you know, we're trying to speak the language they understand, but just showing you the attitude and the atmosphere. But what is very important is that they have made their way here as early as 7 a.m., waiting for the doors to open. As far as Samburu, in as far as Turkana, we're expecting that they have also opened their doors, and this public participation should be happening all the way to 5 p.m. All right, we will continue to pitch our tents here. We're looking at, you know, there's a lot of security lined up. Right, now, like I mentioned earlier on, the security personnel were already here earlier, and so were we as the media before the public came in. But I want to also understand how it is like then in other parts of the country, because as we mentioned, the Constitution demands that this is happening across the 47 counties, 290 constituencies. I want to cross over to Clement Masombo. Clement, habari za asubuhi. What is happening in Nyeri County? Have they turned up equally as we are seeing the turn up in Nairobi? Clement.
Well, good morning to you, Anki. And in Nyeri, I can see that people are still walking into this venue.